Hey, it's your pal Terry Bean. Janet E. Johnson and I are back with another fun episode of Business Growth Time. Today, it's just the two of us. We're going to be talking about the 10 trends that we think are going to happen in 2020 in the digital marketing space. Actually, Janet's going to be talking about it. I might just add a thought or three. Before we get started and I introduce her, y'all need to join me in saying happy birthday. Because it's her birthday
today, but when they hear the podcast, it will be
just
passe.
Today. It's all day, every day. It's Janet's birthday. That's how that works. So happy birthday, Janet E. Johnson.
Thank you. I'm fine with it this year. Next year I won't be, but
this is the last birthday you're gonna be cool with.
Mm-hmm.
I got, since I have you by, let's see, today's the 6th. I have you by 18 days. I know what you're talking about. This was the last birthday that was going to be cool. Although, honestly, I was out with a bunch of old guys yesterday. My pals. And they were complaining about ailments and how old they feel. And I was like, you guys all might look younger than I do, but I'm not sitting around bitching about, aching back or feet or hands or whatever. So I'll look old, but I'll feel young. I'll take that.
Got to take care of yourself. Yeah.
Stop, man.
I'm fortunate that I still look younger, so that's good.
You do, yeah. You look very good. So
I'm going to stay about 10 years younger in my mind, at least.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I didn't do an E thing, right? Oh, that's crazy. Why did we skip the E? Well, people notice. They might notice. So if you have an E word for Janet E. Johnson, I am outsourcing it. That's what's going on. Even my dog doesn't want me to do an E word today. So, hey, so we have ideas and trends, and you have like 10 things that we're going to talk about. So let's get on that 10 things and see what those may be.
We're pet friendly here, but
yes, indeed, it's a fun, friendly show.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's get into it. And thanks, Terry. We haven't recorded in a few weeks, so we definitely have to catch up. But I thought we always cover this each year. It could be social media trends. This is a lot focused on social media, of course, but we will talk, overall digital marketing a little bit, but mainly social media. So let's start with our favorite topic that Terry and I talk about. We have talked, if you've listened to our past podcasts, I think this has been brought up in 80 to 90% of the podcasts. Video.
I know what it is.
Okay. I just said it and you knew what it was, but
knew it.
Video. Okay, video. It's a big thing. It's a big trend. It's not going anywhere. So what are your thoughts with video, Terry? Let's start with what your thoughts are, how it's going to transform and change or is it not in 2020?
I think it's going to transform and change in that more people are going to be doing it, which means that you're going to have to figure out how to grab people's attention faster and continue to build an audience with content that is valuable. And I think you probably need to be looking at a couple of different platforms on which to do it. Instagram, especially IGTV, is something I'm guessing you're going to talk about. And then also, I think you may talk a little bit about LinkedIn in the video situation there. And thank God that stopped. Okay, so what, and what I want to know, and really is interesting to me, is even when we started this, because today I'm on my phone recording on Zoom instead of the laptop like we normally do. In the ratio, the aspect, right? Are you horizontal or are you vertical? That seems to keep changing, and depending on what platform, so I'm always curious about that. So those are my initial thoughts, but do video is, thought one. Just start.
Yeah, video is very, very important. I mean, and even with the ads that I run, because with ads, I always test video and graphics just to see, but lately 90% have with videos won when it comes to testing. I mean, it can tell a story better, it can give more information, and you collect the video viewers so that you can retarget too when you're using it with Facebook and Instagram. So there's just a lot of pieces with video. One of my goals in 2020 personally is to ramp up the look of my videos to make them even a better, more professional looking video. I really like the meme style videos. Those have been really hot. Do you know what I mean? They have the wording across the top and the wording across the bottom, but the video's in the middle moving.
Okay.
So it looks like a meme in a way, but it says what the topic is. You'll see a lot with Grant Cardone. Gary Vee does it a lot. Obviously they have professional people, they have people in the back end that are creating all the, editing all their videos, but to me, it makes it stand out and you know what the topic is right away and what they're talking about. So I think whatever you can do to keep their attention, grab their attention first, and then keep people's attention, I think is going to be, like you said, very, very important and short too. I mean, I don't think people have a lot of attention and time, so we need to keep videos very short. But I do believe video is just gigantic, still continuing to be huge. And let's break down platforms. One that I've been playing with a lot lately too is Pinterest, because they launched video just this year that you can actually upload videos, which is crazy. So Pinterest.
Fun fact. Hold on, I don't mean to jump on this, but I was telling you before we went live that my TedX Detroit video is out, right? My talk at TedX, and when I uploaded it up to YouTube, I clicked the share button, and Pinterest was one of the places that I could share it. And I was like, "Wait, what? No? All right, I'll put it on Pinterest," because we've talked many times that Pinterest is such a great SEO tool, right? It's such a great referrer of content. I was like, well, hell, if I can drive traffic from Pinterest, why would I not leverage that? So I didn't even realize that you could do that on Pinterest, and it sounds like it's new. So good for Pinterest.
Well, you can do that, but that's been happening. The difference now is you can upload a video directly.
So wait, you can store the video on Pinterest?
Yeah, you can upload the MP4 directly. So the actual video, the hard copy video. So that's what's a little bit different. And then it moves in the feed. Just like I talk about with Facebook, Instagram, you don't want to share a YouTube link. You want to upload. LinkedIn, all of them. Mm-hmm. You want to upload directly to every single platform. And now Pinterest has that option too. So all four of them you want to, and you don't want the same content on all of them. Like you said, the tall, if you're doing IGTV, it's best to have tall. They have reformatted now where you can do horizontal. It's not the end of the world now to do horizontal with IGTV, but bottom line is square tends to work the best, I think, on almost all those platforms, but tall definitely would work better for Pinterest. So we use a tool called Wave.video. And that reformats your videos for you. It's pretty cool. So that's
it wave with an E or just dot wave, like, without the
W-A? Well, that's a good question. I think it is. Let me just make sure that I'm saying it. Yeah, wave with an E .video. Yep.
And so when you talked earlier about Grant Cardone and Gary Vee putting the little headers and footers of text on their videos, you have a tool that you would suggest people use for that?
Yeah. But I've seen some even better ones, but I do actually use video meme app. And it's really, it takes 2 seconds to do it. Honestly, it's super easy. So it's very cool. It's on your phone. So you'd have to do it through your phone, but
hopefully it's on my super cool phone too, instead of just iPhone, but we'll see.
Oh, yeah. I know. We upgraded all our phones, and 3 of us went with the iPhone. 1 went with the Google. They actually did the Google phone this time.
It's a smart person. They're one of the boys.
So let's go on to number 2. Stories or do you have any more things on video content?
Just do the damn videos. God, we've been saying it since 2015.
We sure have.
Put it on and do some video.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
start.
And a lot of my clients don't even have videos. They might have video content, but they haven't put it together. And I will put together theirs in like a slideshow type thing with some moving video and then slides and that kind of thing. And that works really well. And I do Animoto for that too. So, I mean, there's just, there's so many tools out there for it. There's just really no reason not to.
That's a great point. You don't have to be in the video, right? You can make video, share your content, share your information. You don't have to have your face. Although I will tell you that the authenticity that your face lends, the ability for people to actually relate to you that your face lends are probably important. I've got a young lady that I'm coaching in the insurance business that started doing video on LinkedIn. She's selling commercial insurance policies because of people seeing her video on LinkedIn. Do the damn video.
Yeah. Well, and she is her own business. I really think it depends. Like one of my clients has a lotion. And so we're talking about it. So we actually put testimonial videos of somebody else talking about the product. Nice. So sometimes it just depends. But if you are your brand, a speaker, coach, consultant, real estate, whatever that may be, then yeah, definitely you need to be on video. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yep.
Number two.
It's time to overcome that. Number 2, stories. Facebook and Instagram, even YouTube has stories. I heard LinkedIn's going to launch story. What's your thought on stories?
So I don't use them properly because my goal for 2020 is to communicate better visually, right? So actually, when I'm taking a photo, think about the photo I'm taking, frame it, see exactly what I want to show, and spend that extra 8 seconds before pushing that little click button. So because of my inability to have done that in the past, me using stories has been relatively ineffective. I see them from time to time. I share them more so on Facebook than Instagram. I don't feel like I get a lot of traction with them, but that could be for the things I just got done saying. I don't necessarily go check other people's stories. So I'm curious what you have to say about it.
Yeah, stories are hot. And I think people are really loving stories because it does kind of do the more authentic side of things than, how perfected the feed should be, like especially Instagram, like your feed. And I work with high-end clients that the feed has to be perfect, but you could do behind the scenes and more fun stuff in the stories. You could do multiple stories and you don't annoy people. I mean, if you did 20 posts on Facebook in one day or Instagram, you're really annoying people. I mean, that's like over the top too many. But if you could do story after story after story, and there are strategies behind stories too. And Instagram stories has been growing. There's been a lot of trends out there, a lot of stats talking about the viewing of stories. Honestly, it's 2 separate platforms almost. You were just saying that you see stories sometimes, that kind of thing. So you're paying attention to the feed. There are some people that log into Instagram and all they do is go through stories and they could care less about the feed. So if you don't use both, you're missing out on a potential audience. So that's where stories is going to grow. It is definitely going to gain in popularity, especially on Instagram, but I have heard Facebook has had great results with stories too. And then we obviously have the advertising side of it too. So we do a lot of ads with stories also. And I always test stories separately from the feed when I do the ads. So I think stories are great. And I think, honestly, throwing stuff at stories though, and just doing them randomly is okay for your personal feed, that kind of thing. But be careful. You really want to start coming up with a strategy. One thing I will add with Instagram is that I study how often should you post on Instagram, how often, what should you be doing, that kind of thing. And one of the latest recommendations is 3 posts per week, but minimally 3 stories per day.
Wow.
Increase that reach and engagement.
Well, I think at some point, either before this year ends or early next, we should do a show on stories.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
I think it's worth, because I have so many questions, but I know we have 8 other things to get
Yeah,
through.
exactly. Yep.
So
Stories is a big thing. Yeah. And I have a whole presentation all about even just ads for stories and that kind of thing. So, yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Right.
So let's do that. So stories is hot. Okay. This is interesting. I know you're going to like this one, Terry.
I like things.
LinkedIn and Pinterest. Let's just talk those two. What do you think in 2020? Are people going to be on those more or less? What's your thoughts on those two platforms?
So since 2018, right, since July, August or so, I think the usage of LinkedIn, I don't mean the growth in terms of numbers of people that are on it. I mean that the number of actual usage that's happening there has grown significantly. People are engaged, they're playing around with it, they're spending time, they're reading, they're commenting, they're sharing. I think that trend will absolutely continue, especially for those in B2B. As far as Pinterest goes, I told you a few minutes ago that I posted something to Pinterest. That was the first time I've thought about Pinterest in 18 months.
Isn't that funny?
It is. It's, well, and I've always thought of Pinterest, and I think we've had this conversation, right, that it skews more heavily female. And so I don't spend time there. But I have a sneaking suspicion if it's probably going to grow too. I think people are getting a little bit disenfranchised with Facebook. I told you about my Facebook password earlier, right? I think people are irritated with that tool, and as that continues, I think people will be looking for alternative places to connect. And I think LinkedIn and Pinterest in particular are great places because, as we've noted before, Instagram is owned by Facebook.
Exactly. So it's kind of one in the same almost. Yep. Exactly. I think you're exactly right. I believe if people aren't paying attention to Pinterest still, it's been something that it's not my top platform. Obviously, I talk a lot more about Facebook and Instagram, but I will say the insane longevity of Pinterest, because it is search and kind of like YouTube videos. Google owns YouTube, so search wise, those ones last a lot longer. And I mean, honestly, Facebook, I do ads. I mean, that's my kind of pretty much how I make my living. But the bottom line is the cost is going up a little bit. And Pinterest has some pretty good advertising side of things too. But with my clients, I don't even have to run ads with Pinterest because it's organic, and it does get some of the most traffic out of any of the resources we use.
Really?
So, oh yeah.
But are we talking about like for jewelry and jewelry cleaning, or were we talking
Remember
about
our own podcast had the most traffic from Pinterest.
That's true. That is true. There's all those cold shoulder sweaters.
Yeah. It's just more of a search site. So just don't forget about it. But I do agree with you. I think, I tell people don't put your energy there unless you're the right product or right business for it. And LinkedIn, honestly, I do believe I've been recommending most of my clients now, they should just, I think in 2020, get a LinkedIn page, get your content there. It's changing. It's engaging. It's definitely a place to look at in 2020. Now, here's my question for you, Terry. What if you're B2C? Is LinkedIn a place for B2C?
So it depends, right? If you think about it logically at the highest level, all consumers aren't necessarily businesses, but all businesses are consumers, right? Every one of us, regardless if we're a business owner, consume. So there's still people there. Ultimately.
I know. Exactly.
So I think it's probably a pretty good spot. I've been showing real estate professionals how to use LinkedIn to target a more affluent audience for 10 years, right? And that's about as B2C as it gets if you think about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. You can be B2C on LinkedIn. It's definitely known
I
as a
agree.
business platform, but if you're B2C, the first word in there is still business.
Yep. Yep.
So
I agree. Yeah. It's a little different. Obviously, we know it's heavily focused on B2B and jobs too. But yeah, I think it doesn't hurt to, be engaged there, get a page set up and do some, be there too. And then you'll learn a lot too as a business owner, because there's a lot of posts and, so it's also both sided, not just trying to get business, but just, the making of connections too.
it's a great spot for that. All right, number 4.
Okay. We won't talk too long on this next one. Authenticity.
Authenticity. Okay. Just as a concept, as a construct, as an idea, what are you saying?
Well, here's the thing. Authenticity versus polished marketing. I think that the authentic, we've talked about this in the past and just being authentic. And that's why I think it goes back to stories even. That's why stories are so hot because people want to see the authentic side of people, not such the polished side. What do you think on that? Do you
I
agree?
think I think that's 100% accurate,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I've been saying that's my argument for using video, right? You can get on video and your way through it, and people understand who you are because that's like the human experience. That's real. They can see the facial expression. They can see whether or not you're shifty, and I think that's super important. It's interesting to me though because you mentioned Gary V earlier, and arguably he's the poster child for authenticity, and he's also the poster child for telling you that you should be on every one of these platforms. But he fails to mention that he has 17 people that work for him in his content. So, maybe not
He's authentic, but he
100%.
has some production behind it.
He's got a
Exactly.
shit
Yeah.
ton of production going on. So,
Yep.
but he is real and the words are real. There's no
Yep.
ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yep.
But,
And I agree with both sides of things. Like, that's why I said I want to ramp up my look and feel of my videos. I don't want to take away the authenticity, but I also want them to be a little more wow than just talking head. So
you've got to stand out at this point, right? And so, I have joked for years, if I was an attractive female, I would own social media, right? Like I've got a big following and I look like this, right? If I was hot, holy shit, watch out.
you gotta have smart words come out of your mouth too, though. I mean, yeah, just the
I'm
looks.
not
I don't
sure.
know.
I'm not 100%
In
sure
order
on
to
that.
convert to a sale, let's
Mm,
just put it that way, because yeah,
Fair, yes. If you're actually trying to do something other than gather likes, yeah, maybe there's
exactly.
truth
That's
in
funny.
that.
So we're going to continue with authenticity. All right. So that's number what? Where are
That
we at?
was number 4. We're on number 5, kids. Handful of
TikTok.
them.
TikTok.
TikTok.
Let's talk TikTok. What do you think?
So you posted about TikTok again the other day, and I finally went over and opened it up and downloaded the app. This is in the last, I don't know, 10 days, and I've looked at it probably on 6 different occasions at this point. And I swear, every time I open it up, I crack up. Right? There's some really creative, really
Yeah.
funny, really engaging, interesting stuff. I don't know how to use it. I haven't really spent any time trying to communicate or use it as a tool like that. I certainly have zero idea on how to create content for it. I haven't checked out your content yet, so as a birthday gift to you, maybe I will. But
Cats.
yeah, it's mostly, I'm sure, mostly cats. Yeah, like people are gonna watch it, man. It's quick hits, 30 seconds of stuff that are gonna make you think or smile. And I think from that perspective, it's listen. The goal is, where are the eyeballs? I think in 2020, I'm hearing people our age talking about TikTok
Yeah.
right now. Like people our age were talking about Bitcoin in 2017, right? You didn't hear shit about Bitcoin in the beginning of that year, And then by October of 2017, people started talking about it. November, from October to December, it went from about $5,800 to almost $20,000 a coin, right? Because that's how the psyche of people goes. And I think that's what's going to happen with TikTok in the next 3 months.
Okay. You want to hear my new opinion on this?
I do.
I think it's going to be it already is. It's a craze. It's a craze going on. I mean, it is, people are crazy about it. They love it. It's short videos to the point. If I go on it, I get sucked in. I'm like, scroll, the next one. You know what I mean? Like it's cool how it's bite-sized content. But what were the other ones that were bite-sized content that were videos?
Vine.
Periscope.
Where's Vine now? Yeah, Periscope got bought though, right? Didn't Periscope become Twitter?
It's Twitter, but yeah, and it still kind of goes a little bit, but
I don't know if Meerkat.
It went like this, and then it went like this. There was another one too, and I cannot remember the name of it. But yeah, Vine died completely. And here's my thinking with this platform. I would not put your eggs all in that basket for sure. I do think there's a lot of negativity about it too, being on where it's from. So there are some people that are very afraid of it and will not put their face on it.
What is it?
China.
China. Okay.
Developed in China, yes. And so there's both sides of it. Mari Smith has put out there completely that she will not be on it, and she completely deleted the app. So there are people.
You have to do that then, I guess. I don't know.
You know,
Mari Smith deleted it.
Yeah. Well, there's both sides of it. And she did make a good point. She said it's not her thing. Like, that's not her, audience or whatever. I get that. But I think it could become what Instagram, we didn't think Instagram was going to be for our age. We didn't think. So and now that's everybody our age is on Instagram. I mean, not everybody, but 90%, So bottom line is, I don't know. I just don't know if it's worth, it's one of those risky ones. It's just, honestly, I dabble with it, but I don't spend a lot of time focusing on it at this point.
I like I said earlier, I'm creative, but I'm not creative that way.
Yeah,
so
me too.
Zero ability to add content that's going to get watched in that place.
You're not going to do a little dance, Terry, and put your phone up?
Another little dance? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, so that's not going to be a thing for me. But, back to, is that where the eyeballs are? It's funny, we were talking about Snapchat yesterday with a client. And so when Snapchat went public, it went public for about $29 billion when it IPO'd in 16 or 17. And within 2 years, it was 17. Within 2 years, it had lost $20 billion. So part of the reason things like Vine went away and Periscope went away is because Instagram and Facebook and other tools like that just said, oh shit, that's a good idea. We're going to add that to our platform. Yep. Bye. Sorry. Yep. Too bad.
Totally agree. Yep.
So maybe what you're seeing on TikTok may get replicated. Although realistically, those tools already have the ability to do what TikTok does, right? If you're just making 60-second or 30-second videos, you can post those wherever you want.
You can put them in the stories. I mean, yeah, exactly. So, and you can actually put your TikTok videos into your stories pretty easily. So, yeah, I don't know. So the verdict's out on that one still, but I think this next year it will still be hot.
Listen, all
longevity
I know
is just
you're going to watch it. You people, Ernie, you're going to go watch it. All right, number 6.
Okay, content marketing. Just in short, driving traffic to your website, blogging. What do you think? Do you think it's still going to be important in 2020?
Yeah, right. It's always going to be important because it's the foundation, and it's how people find you. It's how you connect with your audience. And ultimately it's what Google still cares about. So to the extent that Google controls the digital world, you're going to need to put some content out. And
Absolutely.
realistically, you're going to have to mix it up, right? You're going to have video. You're going to have long form written stuff. You're going to have infographics and other kind of graphics. You're going to have images. You're going to have to tell stories. You can't be a one-trick pony anymore.
Yep. I completely agree. And it fuels you used to get away with like SEO where you could do backlinking and all this kind of stuff. And, that was black hat. There's still backlinking, but there's some black hat ways that happened way back when. And over the years, putting new content on your website consistently is more important than ever. Even myself, I ramped mine up personally, ramped it up actually it was earlier this year, and I tripled the traffic to my website. Wow. Quadrupled even. And then I took my foot off the gas and it dropped right back down. So
really?
Yeah. So now, so I'm like, I got to get back on that. I do a lot of content, but I don't necessarily do the blog. That's one of those things for my business that gets put on the back burner. And I think we all have to be consistent about all of it, and all the content marketing, including email marketing. Like, you've been real consistent, Terry. Took you a while to get there, but you finally, are being really consistent about your email marketing too. So I think all these different pieces, we just need to remember we own our content. We don't own those platforms. We own email marketing. We own our website, but we don't necessarily own all these social media platforms we're talking about.
It's interesting, right? And I go back to a question you and I asked in probably, I don't know, episode 7, right? If you could only do 2 platforms, what would you do? And to some extent, if you look at what you have to do from an SEO perspective, what you have to do from maintaining your website, what you have to do from video, what you have to do from writing, what you have to do from email marketing, and what you have to do from all the social media stuff, it's the same kind of question. If you can only do 2, what would you focus on? And so that might be a whole nother
blog and email marketing.
Yeah. I mean, because the blog drives traffic to all of those things, and so does the email. Yep. I wish in 2008 I had the conversation as to whether or not to start blogging or to start doing email marketing. And because I was like, I know me, I'm only going to do one of them. I'm not going to try and do both. Right. So I was told to blog. I don't think at that time that was the right answer, because the benefit of blogging is the website and driving some traffic and maybe capturing.
Now, if you have a blog and you have an email capture on it, multiple places, and you're capturing emails, that's the thing to be doing. Yeah, exactly.
That would be good. But instead, right? So now you're trying to get people to come to you, as opposed to email marketing. You're just putting yourself to them. So yeah, that might be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, it is. And when I'm very consistent, I lost that consistency. I got to pick it back up. I have a great strategy that works really well to do balance both. So we can talk about that in the future.
I'm sensing some accountability partner stuff going on in 2020.
There you go. Exactly.
2 newsletters and 2 blogs a month, Janet E. Johnson.
Exactly. I mean, that's not that difficult. It's not that difficult.
All right. Number 7.
All right. Influencer marketing.
I think influencer marketing is going to start going down a little bit. I don't think it's going to have the same panache. I think people are starting to recognize that it's kind of bought and paid for, and it probably won't necessarily have the same effect. What you will see is potentially a little bit of a rise in the 2 extremes, right? So the superstar celebrity influencer stuff, will continue and will go up. The real small micro influencer on a local level stuff will go up, but everything in between, I think, will fade away a little bit. not like fade away, but
Yeah. I think it's still, yeah. And I think it's still hot. That was one I actually came up with a stat that when I was doing the research here, and it research supposedly shows that 59% of marketers plan on increasing their influencer budget in 2020. Now, where that comes from, I don't know. But bottom line is, I do agree, and I disagree with you a little bit. I think it's still hot. And I think it's important because, but I don't know that people are going to spend the big money that they were, because I think that the smaller micro influencers are what's hot for people too. Getting multiple people across the board that you can hand your product to or pay them a very minimal amount of money, and having all these different people versus paying one big dog is going to be more of a benefit. And I think where people will be looking at the micro influencers more.
And I don't know what the definition of a micro influencer is. And I guess I can see it would make sense that marketing departments would be like, oh, we're going to increase our spend this year on that. Because I have a sneaking suspicion that marketing departments are usually just a hair behind where the trends really are, right? So I think the population's moving one direction and they're still trying to catch up with where the population was. You know, if you play hockey, you don't skate to where the puck is, you skate to where the puck is going. And I think marketing has a tendency, fantastic marketers are in front and they're creating stuff. The rest of marketing is following, and I think they skate to where the puck is as opposed to where it's going.
Good point. Yep. So that verdict's out. I think people will use it still. I just don't know how popular it will be.
I like it. Number 8.
All right. Shopping within social media platforms, I think will get bigger and bigger and bigger. So do you know what I'm talking about? Like Instagram, how it's clickable and the images are clickable and you don't even have to leave. You do have to, I mean, when you click it, you go to the website and buy the product, but it's directly correlated inside there. Pinterest has it. I think that's going to grow and grow and grow.
That's very, very interesting, right? If you can capture people's attention and get them to take action right now, please do that, right? Because the longer the time is between, hey, I'm really lathered up and want to do this, and I can actually do this, the farther that gap is, the more likely you are to lose them. So if you can make them take action now, get it.
Yep. And that's why whenever we do, I'm working with some new e-commerce clients, and whenever we do the ads, we always get back in front of them again right away. Like, so if they've taken action, watched a video, clicked through to the website, whatever it may be, they've taken some sort of action, but they didn't actually purchase, we get in front of them again immediately. So it's very important to be doing that. So I agree. Social media, so shopping within social platforms will grow. One place that they don't have it will be interesting to see if they end up adding it, is LinkedIn.
Yep, I knew you were going to say that. It's a weird place, man. LinkedIn is like from a core values perspective. I think about, they want to slap people on the hand for connecting with people they don't know, right? So their mentality is, this is a tool for you to deal with people you know, like, and trust, not necessarily a tool to connect and make new relationships on. Obviously, the users use it to connect and make new relationships, but that's not what LinkedIn had intended, and it still kind of stands by that. They still say only send invitations to people you know.
Yeah, they do.
And so as a result of that mentality, I think they might be slow to do the shop now thing, if they ever get to it. Willing to be wrong, but again, it's the psyche of the system doesn't lend itself to that.
I don't see it either, but it is interesting. So it would be interesting to see if they ever do. You know, it doesn't seem like the place to have stories either, but I've also heard that LinkedIn is going to be launching stories.
Well,
When?
they've got
I don't
LinkedIn
know.
Live. It's out, right?
Exactly. It took them a while. It took them forever. It took them forever to even do video. I mean,
Took me
it's
forever.
crazy. Yeah. So anyway, LinkedIn, we love them, but they're a little slow. All right.
Number
Next one,
nine.
number 9.
Number 9.
Okay. Chatbots,
Ooh,
like
chatbot.
messenger marketing.
No, you like the stuff I get from Janet E. Johnson?
Yeah, I'm a low user of it.
I know.
I do have it, but I'm a low user. I do plan to work on ramping some things up, and I'm also working with e-commerce. It makes a lot of sense. So we are setting up some chatbots with them. But my predictions, it will still continue to grow, and I think consumers are pretty used to the messenger marketing type thing, and Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, and WhatsApp are all going to be combined shortly. So that will also increase that. So I think brands will start to continue to follow that trend, and I think it will be used. But the rules are changing, and they're getting much more strict on the rules. So you got to know what you're doing if you're using them.
I wonder how often we've engaged in Messenger thinking we were talking to a person and it was a chatbot. And I wonder how often the average person has done that, because you and I are maybe a little more savvy in that respect, maybe.
Yeah.
I like to think I'm savvy, but I'm probably not. But yeah, I wonder how often that actually happens. People are like, da 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 da. Oh, I'm talking to a robot. Wait a second, I didn't know.
Yeah, and it's been suggested that you should kind of say, like, this is like Molly Pittman's she does a lot with this, and she will say, not Molly Pittman, no, it's Molly, sorry, I should have said the right name. I don't think it's Molly Pittman, but anyway, she calls herself Mollybot. No, so she says this is Mollybot. You know what I mean?
Cool.
So
Yeah.
she actually tells you that's who you're communicating with, so you understand it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm dabbling more, but the only downfall is in January of 20 future. At the end of January, I believe it's the 30th that it hits. They're completely changing the rules with the messenger marketing. And I don't know how that's going to pan out. So basically, if you have them collected in a list, like I have about 100 something, for instance, in my messenger, and let's say I have an upcoming training, I'm not going to be allowed to send that out to the group without paying for it.
Ooh, sassy.
Yeah, there's some big changes coming.
The list that you've curated and grown and added to over time, you're now going to have to pay to use. Yeah, fuck that.
That's great. But there's pluses to it too, because if you have, let's say, a special offer and you can make an ROI on it, and you have that core group that you can send a direct message to that has had interest in you, it still could convert. So, man, I don't know. It's one of those things. And then they're also with ManyChat, they're integrating SMS now, so text marketing and email marketing with all of it too. So I don't know. January is going to change things for the messenger marketing. It's really cool. I will say I'm sharing a room with in San Francisco where I'm speaking on Facebook ads. The other gal is messenger marketing. So I'm probably going to learn a lot. She's a pro, and it will be in February after this whole January thing hits.
Nice.
So
we'll have a download on that after the.
There you go. Yeah. Maybe we'll have her on our, we should probably have her on our show because she's like top notch. So that's something and then we can actually pick her brains on, hey, what's happening with this? But I'd rather do it later in February after the hit happens, so we really know what's going on. So hard to say. All right, this last one, number 10. This is your favorite one, and this I have no opinion on, but you might. AR VR integration in 2020. What does it look like to you, and how much is it going to grow? And
So that is interesting. So virtual reality is always going to be 20% of what augmented reality is, right? Just by the nature of the two difference, right? Virtual reality being fully immersive, you're stuck in those goggles, and if you're doing it right, there's nothing else going on outside of you. Whereas AR is like, like Google Glass was, you actually add things to what's going on in the real world. So AR is going to continue to grow faster. In fact, I was at a hipster bar last night, and they have art exhibits, and so she was saying that the next exhibit that's coming in is going to have augmented reality. So the guy's painting, and then he's painting AR stuff on top of the painting, so you can see the depth. And it's gonna just keep, people are gonna be more and more creative. It's gonna continue to grow, and it's not gonna catch on nearly as fast as anybody wants it to.
Okay, got it. So how would that integrate with your digital marketing, your social media, all that kind of, I mean, what's your thoughts there?
Well,
Or is it
so
separate? I don't know.
if from a virtual reality perspective, you think about whether you're using it for training, whether you're using it for gaming, whatever the case may be. It's product placement, right? It's the idea as you're going through this virtual environment and the simulation. All of a sudden, the people in there are drinking a Pepsi, or they're using a certain type of lotion, or who knows what. But
Or
it's
real estate, like touring a home that's for
exact.
sale, that you
Well,
could
and
go see it without having to go there.
that to me. There's a company called Matterport that's doing virtual tours, and you can load it up right in the goggles. I like real estate companies that are ahead of the game are doing that stuff today, right? This isn't, hey, 15 years from now. This is 15 years from now, they'll all be doing it,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
why would you drive to 74 houses to see what somebody likes when you could sit them in a chair, have them walk through those same 74 houses in an hour, right? And be like, these are the three I need to go see. The augmented reality side is a little bit different. Imagine walking through their grocery store, and having your list tethered to your phone, and your phone's integrated with some level of beacon. All of a sudden augmented reality kicks in, and there's coupons being sent directly to you for whatever products you have listed. It's really, really gonna be a game changer.
Okay. Well, I
So
take that. That'd be easier shopping.
there's some neat shit coming down in both of those worlds, for sure, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
I can imagine. Okay. Okay. Well, I wanted to end. I think that's like you said, there's some things happening in that, and it's not going anywhere into 2020. People will be using it more and more and more. So that's
It's gonna
it.
grow, just not fast.
So our top 10 was video, stories, LinkedIn and Pinterest gaining traction, authentic content trumps polished marketing, the TikTok craze, content marketing, influencer marketing, shopping inside the social platforms, chatbots, and AR and VR. So that was everything. I mean, there's more. We know there's more. That was the top 10 we had. But I'd love to hear Ernie's opinion too, if they think we missed something. I'm sure we did. I have no doubt that we did, because there's a lot of movement in the digital world, and we really didn't talk about Google and SEO very much, and that's a whole nother ball game too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And we didn't talk about mobile at all, and what's going on in these devices, and the crazy amount of apps that continue to come out, and like.
Oh, you muted yourself. Unmute. I can't unmute you. There you are.
Did I just start talking to myself?
Yep.
No.
The crazy amount of apps.
Yeah.
Is where you ended.
Oh, well, that's funky, because all of a sudden I got muted. So I just what I said, we talked about the crazy amount of apps, but also we didn't make any bold predictions as to what might come out that doesn't exist, right? What's the 2020 version of TikTok? You know,
Yeah,
that
I honestly have no idea. Or the 2020 version of Facebook. I mean, think about it. Facebook's been around a long time and people really want to have one of those. You know what I mean? Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing. Is there another one coming along the way? Yeah, for sure. But what is it? What does it look like and what's it going to be? And will it even happen in 2020? I don't know.
all
So,
good questions. Something to think about for sure. So, Janet E. Johnson, I know that they can go and visit all of our past episodes at businessgrowthtime.com. I know that a few people might want to come hang out with us over on our Facebook group at businessgrowthtime.xyz. What else should we tell them? Just happy holidays?
that's it. Yes. Enjoy your holidays. And we will be back with you again after. This one will probably be before Christmas, but hard to say what else we'll be doing for our podcast after Christmas. But you never know. There's tons of content on there. I just want to make sure you guys understand we have done so many shows. So go look through all the past shows and just pick what your favorite topic is and take a listen, because there's a lot of great content in there.
Social media and networking, video, content, SEO, right? We've talked about it. If it's going to help you grow your business, we've spent time talking about it. See how I worked the name in there?
Business Growth Time. Well, thanks, you guys. And if you enjoyed this, we would love a review on iTunes. We would appreciate it. And we appreciate you listening. Have a good one.